best car, SUV, or truck, guess what? You're in luck. Frontier Motors is down the street. Got the best deals that can't be beat. Don't overpay, come in today. Doing business the old-fashioned way. Frontier, we've got the right price. Frontier, we'll treat you mighty nice. Frontier Motors, low overhead country.
We happen to have the owners of that fine establishment here present in the studio, ready, willing, and certainly more than able to answer any questions that you may have. Questions concerning the price of a car or a truck or an SUV that you're thinking of buying or selling or trading in. So how would you get that information? Give us a call, 476-1007. 476-1007. Now, if you're out of the calling area, say Alabama, add 888 to that, 476-1007. The owners to whom I refer, Iven Streckel and Ron Schneider.
Wow, that almost took up a half hour of the introduction there.
Exactly.
I guess the show's over. No, just kidding. Don, thank you very much. That was the famous Don Parker from WCOA, who's been here for years and years and years. Talk News Radio 100.7 and WCOA 1370 AM. But we're also here with the cable people, and cable people are taking our show, and we're having fun, Blab TV, and talking a little bit about Frontier Motors and what goes on in the industry. A little bit about Frontier Motors. We were established 18 years ago. We're in our 18th year of business. Ivan and I were in the car industry for years and years. We came as lot guys in the back, and then they moved us to, I don't know what they did, detailed the cars, and then they made us move the cars around, and then they let us sell cars, as they would say. They let us sell cars, and I was pretty successful for it for a little while. Didn't like it at the beginning and changed jobs, and then came back and got in the car business and been in it for 35 years. You kind of did the same kind of thing, mostly stayed in it, but stumbled a bit.
That's right. We stayed in the new car business almost longer than we were in the used car business, and we got into the used car business about 18 years ago. Ron actually a bit earlier than that. And one of the things that we decided to do when we opened Frontier Motors is we wanted to create an atmosphere that is more user-friendly for our customers walking in. I ask customers a lot of times on why they don't buy cars more often. We have a lot of customers who can afford to buy cars, and the number one thing that I always get out of the customers' mouths when I ask them, how come you waited so long? It's because they hate the car buying process. And we know that because we used to work for dealerships that had bad car buying practices that we were taught to deliver to our customers. So when we opened up Frontier Motors, we decided, let's make it easy for our customers, and let's do something unique that isn't done, at least not in the Pensacola area as far as we know, and that is give a customer a price before they even ask for one. Let a customer know what their car is worth before they even ask you. Let a customer know what the payments are worth, but better yet, let the customer know what the out-the-door figure is, including all the tax, the fees, the dock fee, the tag transfer, the title fees, so the customer can make a better decision on the bottom line pricing of the car, whether he's getting a good deal or not. And when we give you this information, we ask you to go shop. A lot of people say, well, I'm going to think about it, I'm going to let you know. What they're really saying is, I want to go shop. I want to find out if the figure you give me is the right figure. We urge you to shop, because how do you know if you're getting a good deal unless you go somewhere else? So we give you that price in writing. We send you off to the next dealership. And if the next dealership won't give you the price in writing, that's where we come in, because you'll hightail back to Frontier Motors, and we end up getting your business.
And, of course, we're live on the radio, and we take telephone calls at 476-1007. If you're watching us on television, the number across the screen on the bottom of the screen is for Frontier Motors at the dealership. But you can call in. Don's operating the buttons right there. And what you're going to find is you're going to find the NADA guide. NADA guide is probably the most widely used. Ivan's holding it up right there. Been in business 85 years, about as long as WCOA. And they're trustworthy. They're the ones everybody looks to. They're the ones that they go for. If you go into court of law, you can take an NADA value in there. That helps. They have a few others. The Kelly Blue Book, the Edmunds, not used in our area. Don't confuse yourself with those. I'm not trying to talk you down off this ladder, and not trying to say that you shouldn't, but you're going to confuse yourself in this area because nobody uses it. Our lenders don't use it. The credit unions don't use it. The dealerships don't use it. So you're going to get yourself in a little bit of tizzy if you go into a dealership and go, well, I got this Edmunds thing, I got this Kelly Blue. Nobody uses it in this area. But it's about values. This show is about values, 476-1007. We try to give free values. Like I've said, we sell cars. We also give free information. And one of the other things that we do differently at Frontier Motors is every day before Ivan and I get there, all of our salespeople open up the cars. They get all the doors open, all 4 doors. If it's a 4-door, all 2 doors. And the reason for that is so you don't have to feel obligated to look. Ivan says, take that process away of people complaining, man, I want to go buy a car. It's so hassle. I talked to an older couple on Friday, and one was 84 and she was 81. And the reason that they were there, their car broke. Their transmission broke. So now all of a sudden they're forced into the market. I said, why did you wait so long? Like I always ask. Well, I hate the process. Well, that's what it's all about. We hate the process, too, so we made it easier. We have 300 cars in stock. I think Ivan's been a great job trying to come back. We had a great month last month, sold a lot of cars, and we were down about 20, 30 units. But if you're out there listening or watching on TV, if you're trying to sell your car and you're going to go put it in the news journal, or if you're going to put it on Craigslist, before you do that, bring it by Frontier Motors. We'll buy it.
That's right. We would rather buy from private individuals like yourself than have to go to the auction to get our cars. People always ask us, where do you get your cars? Well, the one place I'd like to get cars is right from private individuals that are going to put their cars on maybe AutoTrader, maybe on eBay or Craigslist or just on the side of the road. So if you've got a car and you're trying to sell it, why not bring it to Frontier Motors? And you might be shocked at the dollar amount that we'll give you for your car based on the fact that we are down. I think the last time I looked around, we were down to 291.
297 this morning.
297, and I've got one truckload coming, so a little bit over 300. Our goal is to get to 350 cars, so we really are down a little bit on our cars. So bring it to us, and we'll write you a check for it. If the dollar amount that we quote you is not enough, we can always do a consignment. We'll give you a little bit more on consignment because we don't have to tie up our cash, so we can kind of explain how that program works. So a lot of our advertising that we're doing on this show is to let people know that there is a dealership out there that will make it easy for you to buy a car from us, but even easier for you to sell your car to us. I think last week, Ron, we bought, I think it was 14 or 15 cars from private individuals that brought their car to us, and we just wrote them a check, and they were happy that they didn't have to go through the process of having people come over to their house at night.
That's it, knocking down their doors. I was talking a little bit about the consignment. The consignment's pretty thorough. It's a 2-page agreement between you, us, and the state of Florida, so everybody knows the rules in this. And if you go to a dealership and they say they're going to put your car in consignment, if there's no contract of any type, I'd run. Yeah, I'd run. Ours has a 2-piece. It tells you that you're going to keep your insurance on it. It tells who the parties are they're selling it. It tells you how to get a hold of you. It also says what the limit is you take and what the limit you won't take, and makes it pretty easy. And if you have a payoff on the unit, in other words, if you were selling your car for $20,000 and you still owe the credit union $15,000, we'll take care of that after the sale goes down. After the sale is complete, we will make sure that we pay off that loan. You'll get the remaining balance as soon as the title's back there. So it's a win-win situation for those that don't want to sell their cars. There's people out there that are like us, entrepreneurs. What do you got in news? You got anything cool in news?
Well, you had mentioned that Ron got something in the mail the other day from a new car dealership, and I consider some of the advertisements that you get in the mail somewhat of a gimmick. But explain the one that you got, Ron.
This is almost a gimmick and a scam all in one, but it's awful. This is tax season's upon us. And this says, right here on the front of this, it says, important tax refund information enclosed. So you got to open it up. 1-800-689.
Looks like there's a check in there.
Yeah, request immediate actions, time sensitivity material enclosed. Right then you should know it's a scam. Warning, $2,000 fine, 5 years imprisonment or both for any persons interfering or obstructing with the delivery of this letter. U.S. mail. I mean, this thing is to be opened by address, and then you open it up, it's a car dealer trying to get you at his car dealership. Now, folks, you got to go to a car dealership because you want to buy a car, not because you got a crazy envelope promise you things. They got things in there that they'll give you up to $2,000 in real money. Well, come on, this ain't real money. That's what it says right there. They also say, look, there's like a fake 1040 in the back of this thing. It's just crazy what dealers are thinking and what they shouldn't be thinking. Now, Ivan and I have always said that this is no good. You know, when the dealership was started 18 years ago, we didn't want all these things. We didn't want no moonlight sales. We didn't want no tax something sales. And this is by a big dealer. I would love to mention the name, but I'm not going to. It's an import dealer. But, you know, it's and then on the back, Ivan, you were reading something on the back that was so small. Hold on. Let's see, folks, right here. See, this is lettering. This is actually wording. And Ivan took in, I don't know what you did. Did you use a...
No, I got really good eyesight. See these little spectacles.
I got you. And what did it say there?
Basically what it says, the letter says that we'll buy your car from you for clean black wholesale, which is a pretty good figure. But the back of it in the small fine print, because the advertisement is not so much that you should buy a car from them. It's an advertisement like we were just talked about, that we buy your car, whether you buy a car from us or not. And we'll pay you clean black book, which is pretty good. But on the back of it says, we will deduct 40 cents per mile for anything over 10,000 miles on the car. In other words, if you've got just as little as 20,000 miles on your car, you're over by 10,000 miles, 40 cents a mile times 10,000 miles is $4,000 mileage deduction. Now, let's hypothetically say you've got 30,000 miles on your car.
Ouch.
That's an $8,000 mileage deduction, which puts it into the
gimmick.
I can't believe it.
It's a gimmick. Kimsey puts it into the gimmick category. And this should be banned. But you know what happens? It actually makes Frontier Motors look good because we don't do this. In 18 years, we haven't done any of these mail-outs. We don't do like I say, the satellite sales or hire people come in from Atlanta and help us sell cars.
And here's the coolest thing, Ron, the coolest thing is the Federal Trade Commission is stepping down on dealers' throats that are doing deceptive advertising. And we have it going on for years and years right here in our city, whether it be on TV or whether it be in the newspaper, whether it be on the billboards. And Ron and I have been complaining about it for years and years. I've never called the Trade Commission on my dealer that's right down the road, but we see it happening. And finally, the Federal Trade Commission has started. Now, they've started in California, they started in New York, and they are fining dealers heavily for this type of garbage right here, where you have to come in there to try to get that extra $2,000. I don't know if you saw this. There's a $2,000 voucher on top of the normal value they're going to give you. They're going to give you an extra $2,000 for it, but then they're going to deduct $8,000 for mileage, which is in the small print. Now, technically, that's legal because the small print is there and you can read it. But a billboard, we saw this before, where there's a billboard on I-110, and the disclaimer you can't read even when you pull your car over. You should never stop in the middle of the expressway to read a disclaimer. But if you're stupid as me, and I did stop, I couldn't make out the disclaimer even when I stopped. I think I would have to get underneath the sign to read it. And the Federal Trade Agency, and what they're really complaining about, folks, and I know you've seen this. Do you remember the old buy one, get one free?
Yeah,
now, they haven't run this in Pensacola in the last 2 years, but they're still running it in California, where if you buy one car, you get one free. Well, you can't make out that fine print. And a car does not have, if it's a $20,000 car, how do you get one for free? They don't make $20,000 on it. Well, it's bogus because what it is a lease payment. They'll make the payments on your lease for 3 months, and after that, you're responsible for the payment. And all this stuff goes on and on as far as the dealerships, what they did wrong, and how much they fined them. And most of the stuff, it's because they were false advertising where you could come in and get $10,000 off of a certain pickup truck. But you couldn't, because you could never qualify for all the rebates. Because the rebates, what they did is they added 5 or 6 different rebates together, came up with a $10,000 discount. Well, you can't qualify. You got to be a farmer. You got to be a retired Navy SEAL. you got to be all these things to be able to get these rebates, and it's a joke. So when we're getting the word out, folks, there's really no such thing as a sale in the car business. And I laugh now. There's a President's Day is coming up, Ron.
It's today.
I saw the other day they have a President's Day sale. Now let me think.
In other words, when the financing part is very, very good, the internal part or where the selling of the cars are, it's very, very good. I saw that some of the new car dealers now are advertising 1.9, 2.9, 3.9. Well, you're getting those same type of rates when you're buying used cars, because a lot of the banks and their subsidiaries, they went into the used car business after the mortgage business went in the tank. You got to make money somehow, otherwise banks, aren't going to be there. So they went into this business, Wells Fargo Dealer Services, Fidelity National Bank, Chase Bank. They're all in the car industry, and they're really, really doing well. So that makes it strong enough where you can get good term and good rates. We had an example the other day. A customer came in. They'd done their business at their credit union for years and years and years. Well, they went over there, and they would only go 60 months. Well, that put their payments at about $380. We got them an extra 12 months through Wells Fargo Dealer Services at the same rate and dropped their payments under $300. There's ways of doing things with all the good financing out there. And if the financing's strong, that means car sales are strong. And the financing at Frontier Motors is very, very good and very, very easy. One of the customers said, Ivan, he was in and out of there in about 25 minutes with his financing. And he said, if I'd have went, don't get me wrong, we love credit unions. We love them all out there, but he said, if I'd have went to my credit union, this has been a 2-hour process, going there, going back, sitting down, getting weighed. So it helps out a little bit. And we have in-house Penn Air, and we have also Harvesters Federal Credit Union in-house along with those banks.
And the reason that that's a good thing for you is that if you are a member of Penn Air or Harvesters, you don't have to go down to their local branch. You can stop at Frontier Motors, and we are the branch. So you can get approved through your own credit union right at Frontier Motors. And we have about 10 other finance sources. I'm always amazed how many customers come in and say, I'm going to my credit union. And we never try to berate you going to the credit union. That's fine. If you get a good deal, you've been a member for a long time. Some of them do payroll deduction. It's really easy to do business with them. But if we can beat the rate and you don't even know us, I would think that you'd want to challenge your credit union and maybe use our rate to get them to give you a little better deal. I had a customer the other day, Ron, that said that they're going to go to the credit union even if I save them money. And I'm thinking, like, why would you do that? Why would you do that? Why would you pay somebody more interest because you've been doing business with them for 20 years? If anything, those people that you've been doing business with for 20 years should give you a better deal. I'd slap them up. I would pay more. I'm a good customer.
Don, kick the soapbox out from underneath him. He's on a roll. He's on a roll. Kick it out.
You go, guy.
That's right.
You're paying for it. You go, guy.
We'll pull all my money out of there. We did have this happen about 6 years ago, Ron. I remember it was a gentleman, was a retired Navy officer, and he came to us and he said that they had a billboard. You remember the billboards, 2.9 financing, but you had to have over a 750 beacon score to get the 2.9 financing. This was a local credit union, had a big billboard. He was a 749. Which, folks, anything over 700 is a good score. You're pre-approved if you come to Frontier Motors if you're over 700. He was a 749, so he went in there and he wanted to get to 2.9. They told him you can't get 2.9. He says, what are you talking about? He had hundreds of thousands of dollars in the account, in the savings account there. He had CDs with him. He had checking account with him. He went to the branch manager and asked him to get 2.9. He was 1 point short on his beacons. They told him to take a hike.
That's crazy.
He pulled all of his money out. He came to us. He went to Harvesters and put all his money in Harvester, and of course he got 2.9. Everybody had a happy ending. I was just so surprised the customer service at his 20-year credit union was so bad that they wouldn't make an exception. And the reason they said that is because they have to do it for one. They have to do it for all.
Yeah, well, that's the problem with the credit union. Credit union is the money in that you and I put in there. Central Credit Union or Penn Air.
It's a non-profit thing.
Well, but it's because of rules. They have to have rules, and they can't bend these rules like banks can. And that's why I'm saying that it's so good to have Fidelity National Bank, because they'll bend a little bit of that rule. Wells Fargo, we call them up and they'll do just about anything from us. We had a customer that was buying a very expensive pickup truck the other day. It was $35,000, and we needed an extra 6 months on top of what they normally do to make the payment right, and they did it, and they didn't even raise the rate. So they help you out a little bit. Don't get me wrong. We love the credit unions. Navy Federal Credit Union, we do a lot of business. We do a lot of business with the executives up there and everybody else. Keep those checks just a coming. We don't have any problem with them. But if we're competitive, we're competitive. Frontier Motors, located at 230 Beverly Parkway. For those that don't really know where that is, it's in the middle of Escambia County. If you're coming down Brent Lane, you just cross over Highway 29, 2 or 3 blocks. On our right-hand side, you'll see a whole block of cars and trucks. If you're coming from the west side of town, you come down Softly Field Road, cross over W Street, and right there on the left-hand side, in the middle of that block right there, you'll see Frontier Motors. You'll see some palm trees out there, and you'll see about 100 cars out in the front. But remember, folks, there's 200 cars behind that front line right there. Our truck lot is over right across the street right there on the corner, and all the cars and SUVs and everything else is right there on the main lot. But over 3 acres of cars, like I said, 297 in stock this morning. Ivan bought another truckload. Will be over 300 again. But when you're out there looking for a car, if you run into this, run into scams, or you don't like what you see, you see a lot of as-is cars on somebody's lot, get off the lot. Move. Go to maybe try Frontier Motors. Go to a franchise. Go somewhere that you feel comfortable that they stand behind their cars. It's not a life and death that you have to buy a car from that certain dealer. It's look around, like Ivan said earlier in the show, shop. We encourage people to shop. You know why? Because then you feel more comfortable and have the best deal. If you get enough information at the dealership, because we're an information dealership, if you get enough information that you can make a decision, well, then go ahead and do that. But you might want to always check with Frontier Motors before you do that.
And what we do is we offer the alternative to a new car. So if you are in the new car market, you might say, well, why would I go to Frontier Motors if I'm going to buy a brand spanking new car? Well, if we offer the alternative, and I'll give you an example. Let's say you're going to go to Pensacola Honda and buy a 2014 Honda Accord. Well, if you stop in Frontier Motors, you're going to find that we have one that has 295 miles on it. Now, that's a used car. It doesn't have 10 miles on it. It has 295 miles on it. But we put that up against their car to see how much lower will ours be. So what we do is we give you that out-the-door figure, especially if you got a trade-in. It doesn't matter what they're asking. It doesn't matter the true price and all that. The only thing that matters is who's got the better out-the-door figure. And if I can save you $4,000 on a car with 200 miles on it, normally I'm going to end up earning your business. We also have a 2013 Smart car with 1,000 miles on it, 2010 Dodge Challenger SRT8, that's the hot rod version with 1,000 miles on it. How about a 2013 Lexus ES350 with 1,000 miles on it? Another 2014 Honda. This one's an Odyssey Touring, which is the real fancy one with the navigation and the DVD and the electric sunroof and the fancy wheels. That car's got 1,900 miles on it. A Kia Sedona with 2,000 miles on it. A Dodge Ram 1,500 with 2,000 miles on it. I can go on and on about the type of cars that we have, and I would say that probably 100 of the cars that we have very low mileage that compete with a brand new car, and the rest of the 200 cars that we have are the ones that you come in here and you say, well, I want to get a car that's got maybe 30,000 miles on it, maybe 40, maybe even 50,000 miles that are half price or a third of the price of a brand new car. And that's really what we have, is something for everybody, not just one specific make and model.
Counted over 61 SUVs on our lot, and most car lots don't have 61 vehicles on their lot. Mm-hmm. But, the enormous amount of Chevrolets, I think it was 28 Chevrolets, over 40 used Fords. And what we're talking about, folks, is when we started 18 years ago, first thing we wanted to do is we wanted to start a reputation. The second thing we wanted to do, we wanted to start a car lot. And when we put that car lot together, the first load Ivan and I went to buy was 50 cars. And we put those cars out there, and now it's 300 cars. And now it's so much easier to pick out something that you may need. There's a lot of truth into going to a car lot with a lot of good quality used cars just to make the determination what you want. Not just to buy that day, but you can come in there and you can look at a Mitsubishi Montero. You can look at a Ford Escape. You can look at a Ford Explorer. You can look at a BMW M3. You can, all these different type quality SUVs all in one place. And Ivan always says, instead of go from dealer to dealer, giving your name to all the salesmen at the dealer to dealer, you can go in one place, Frontier Motors. When you go on our internet is frontiermotorsinc.com. You'll find 20 to 30 good quality pictures on there. And if you're an internet person and that's the way you like to deal, you can go direct to Todd Gordon. Todd Gordon handles most of the information that comes through the internet, and Keisha Streckel helps him with that. But it's an easy way sometimes to eliminate looking at 300 cars. I like the older gentleman that's been probably 6 months ago. He says, I can't stand looking at all your cars, so I got on the internet and lowered it down to about 3 I need to look at. Well, I thought, well, that's kind of neat.
If anything, it gets confusing. Like Ron had mentioned, we have 61 SUVs on the lot, so if you come in looking for a mid-size SUV, if there's anything we can help you with, and that's get you mass confused, because you're not going to know which one you want. So if you're walking in, which is really good if you really don't know what you want. Now, the way our salespeople can help you, if you know you want a Ford Edge, all you do is walk in and say, hey, I'm looking for a Ford Edge. Our salespeople can take you to the 4 or 5 that we have on the lot. But sometimes what happens is you look at the Ford Edge and you might cross over to the Lincoln MKX model, which is the Lincoln's version of the Ford. Maybe you'll flip over to a Chevy Equinox or maybe a Chevy Traverse, which we've got on the lot. Or you can look at the Lexus models, the Infinities, the Acuras. We've got them all lined up there. And it's almost like going to a car show. People like going to new car shows. I know there's not any major new car shows in our area. I think the closest one normally is in New Orleans. But the advantage of going to a new car show is you can look at all make and model under one roof. And that's what you can do at Frontier Motors. Now, we don't really have a huge roof because we are low overhead. We're not inside Car City. We don't have a mausoleum. We do not have an indoor showroom. And that's one of the reasons that we moved to Florida. So we could have an outdoor showroom and not get killed. It's never too cold. It's never too hot. It's actually a comfortable situation. And our salespeople are more than happy to pull a car around for you if you know what you're looking for. Ron had mentioned that he had a gentleman shop on the internet. We make it so easy because we'll have the car sitting in the front of the building when you get there. So if you know you want to look at this SRT8, you're coming from Panama City, if you're watching this on TV right now, call us up. We'll have that car sitting out front. It's got gas in it with a tag on it, so you can take it for a test drive and make sure that that's the car for you. We've already can do the negotiating over the phone or over the internet, and we can do this even if you have a trade-in. The only thing we'd like to know is the ID number of the trade and, of course, the condition of the vehicle, and within a matter of minutes, we can put it into our system, and we can give you a trade-in value on whatever you're driving. And Ron and I do this all day long. You don't necessarily have to bring the car in. Of course, if you're from Pensacola, you might as well bring it in because sooner or later we're going to want to drive it anyways. But if you're outside the area, just give us the information. We can give you an appraisal without seeing the car.
So we got 5 minutes left. We sell cars, we buy cars, and we help you with buying a car. In other words, you don't have to be buying a car from us. You might be buying it from somebody in Fort Walton, Panama City, Iven mentioned, Mobile, or you might be buying it somewhere. Call Frontier Motors. We'll help you out with the values. All of our salespeople have laptops in front of them. We keep them constantly. The AAX system tells us what's going on in different regions. We'll help you out with the price of a car, even if you're not buying it from us. The other couple things we do is when you get to Frontier Motors, all of our cars are priced. Every one of our salespeople have a price sheet. This is one of the price sheets that you see right here. And it has the pricing for every single car. It has the loan value for every single car. It has the equipment on every single car. Helps you kind of find what's going out there. And we do this every day. We do it Monday through Friday from 8 until 6 and Saturdays from 8 until 4. We help you out with values, absolutely free. We don't mind doing it. We do it every day. Ivan and I eat and breathe and live, and all of a sudden at 6 o'clock we turn this off. But what we do is we'll help you when you need to, and we'll help you if you're looking at a car somewhere else. And we even help you sell your own car. If you want an entrepreneur and you want to put it in the paper, heck, we'll give you a hand and tell you how to do that. But if you're buying a car, we're the place to go. If you're selling a car, we're the place to go. And if you're looking for not the discomfort of buying a car, we're the place to go.
And if you are going to be buying a car from a used car lot that doesn't give you the history report, which would be the Carfax or the auto check, it's not a problem. Don't fret. We used to say, well, just get off the lot if they won't give you the history report. Just call us with the ID number. It's pretty expensive to do a history report. I got online the other day, and a Carfax was $39.95 plus tax. So it's about $43 to run a Carfax. I can run it at no charge for you. So if you know anybody out there that's in the car buying mode, and they're buying a car from maybe a neighbor or relative, and they just want to know the history of the vehicle, call us with the ID number, and all of our salespeople have the tools handy right at their fingertips where they can run that history report, and we'll run the auto check and the Carfax. It's nice to have both because sometimes they pull their data out of different areas. I know the Carfax will give you oil changes from Pep Boys and from dealerships, and the auto check a lot of times has more of the information on accidents and things like that some of the other history reports don't have. But we can do this at no charge. Another thing, while we have that run that ID number for you, we can also tell you within a matter of seconds what that vehicle is worth. What should you pay for it? So if your neighbor's got the car for sale for $12,900 and it shows on here that the wholesale value is $8,500, well, you're paying too much. Because if I can buy the car for $8,500, I could sell the car for $10,500, make $2,000, and beat their neighbor's price by $3,000. So you might want to be careful when you talk about pricing also, because we can give you that immediately.
Yeah, and we're not going to give you a price we can't back up either or go find. Frontier Motors, located at 230 Beverly Parkway. You got about 2 minutes. We deal in Highline used cars. We got anything from a Maserati to a $3,900 little Chevrolet Cavalier I saw back the other day. But just a lot of cars in between. Some 2014s are now sliding in there. I saw the 2014 Ford Escape come in. Really good looking rig, and it's just like you say, you get excited about the car business. It's like having a new car store when you see these cars come in with the new body styles. But there's really nothing too much we can't find. Some are a little bit more difficult than others, but we do a great locate service for those people that don't want to go from dealership to dealership. You can either go to see us on our website at frontiermotorsinc.com, or you can just use the old-fashioned way. That's a telephone.
What?
A telephone.
No way.
That's 436-8080, 436-8080. Put it in your cell phone next time you need a value on a car. We're the guys to turn to.
Hey, Ron, we got a 2014 Grand Caravan, a 2014 Kia Sorento, a 2014 Escape, a 2014 Jeep Patriot, a 2014 Chrysler Town Country, and a 2014 Honda Accord.
Wow.
So who says the 14s aren't out yet? And that's just 14s. 13s, we got 3 pages of 13s. And the auctions are tomorrow when I do the Orlando Auto Auction, which we're lucky enough to have Orlando real close to us. Second largest auction in the world. And we have a buyer down there every week that can buy the car that you're looking for. So just tell us what you're looking for. We'll buy it for you at a minimum markup.
Have fun and enjoy your next purchase on any of your used cars or new cars. Don't get scammed by these little letters right here. Throw them away, throw them in the trash, use it for a dartboard. Thanks for watching, and remember, everybody drives a used car.
Have a great day. Auf Wiedersehen.
You're in luck. Frontier Motors is down the street. Got the best deals that can't be beat. Don't overpay. Come in today. Doing business the old-fashioned way. Frontier. We've got the right price. Frontier. We'll treat you mighty nice. Frontier Motors. Low overhead country.